Well, hi, my name is Seth, and today we are going to talk about more than children's childcare. What makes a safe and effective children's ministry environment? So, to me, this is important because of what I do. I'm a children's pastor at Echo Church, and so for this topic, it is very important. When most people think about children's ministry, they probably picture snacks, coloring pages, Bible stories, crafts, and honestly, a lot of noise. And truthfully, a lot of those things do happen. There are snacks, coloring pages, Bible studies, and a lot of noise. But behind a strong children's ministry environment, there's a lot more happening than most people see. There are safety systems, trained leaders, emotional care, spiritual care, and relationships being built every single week. My purpose today is to tell you about what makes a safe and effective children's ministry environment. I will first explain physical safety, and then emotional safety, and finally, spiritual and relational safety. As a kids pastor here at Echo in Montana, this topic is personal. So, as a husband, I have 2 kids. I spent 17 years in the military, and I understand the importance in preparation, trust, safety, and when people are depending on you. The first part of safety and effective children's ministry environment is physical safety. Physical safety includes the systems that help protect children from preventable harm. These are behind the scenes that parents don't necessarily noticeably see or notice. For example, churches need structure, check-in and check-out procedures. Kids should be released they should not be released to just anyone, but there should be confirmation on who they're released to. That one system alone helps build trust with families. Physical safety also includes clean classrooms, safe toys and equipment, clear emergency plans, and proper leader to child ratios. These are so important. A room can have great music and great teaching, but none of that matters without physical safety. It depends on leaders knowing what to do. Leaders need to understand bathroom procedures, injury procedures, emergency exits, allergy concerns. All of these things are so important. In a children's ministry, I don't know is not a good answer. They need training before they get into the situations. With my military background, this makes me think about even more. In military preparation, not just a nice idea because people are depending on each other. I see children's ministry in a way that is very similar. When parents drop off their kids, they are trusting us with what matters most to them. That is so important. Now, physical safety is important, but a child can be physically safe and still feel anxious, ignored, or unwelcome. That brings me to the second part of the safe and effective children's ministry environment, emotional safety. Emotional safety means children feel seen, welcome, cared for, and trusted by adults. Kids are more likely to listen, participate, and learn if they feel like they belong. A child who feels nervous or overlooked may be in a room physically, but emotionally they are checked out. Sometimes emotional safety is built through very simple actions like greeting a child by their name or getting down on their level and talking to them, also noticing them when they seem sad, overwhelmed, or uncomfortable. For younger kids, especially, transitions can be hard. Walking into a classroom, noise, other kids, unfamiliar things do not feel comfortable. A good children's ministry leader does not just manage behavior, they help kids feel secure. That does not mean that boundaries don't exist. Healthy boundaries are so important when it comes to effective ministry. However, that structure should be communicated with patience and care, not fear and embarrassment. This is something that I think about often as a dad and a kids pastor. Children remember how adults make them feel. That is so important to remember. They remember if leaders were kind. They remember if they felt wanted. Honestly, the third part of a safe and effective ministry environment is spiritual and relational safety. Spiritual safety means kids are taught about God in ways that are clear, age appropriate, and caring. Kids do not need a college level theology lecture. They just need to know the truth in very simple terms. For example, when you teach kids God loves them, we should use simple words, repeat the main idea, and connect it to real life. A child can understand love when we talk about care, protection, forgiveness, kindness. The goal is not to impress kids with complicated language, it's to make it simple enough to where it understands in their world. The relational safety also matters because children ministry leaders have influence. Whether we like it or not, leaders are not just filling time until adult service is over. They are shaping how children experience church authority, trust, and faith. That is a big responsibility. A children's early experiences in church can shape how they think about God and people the rest of their lives. If kids experience church as chaotic, unsafe, or harsh, that's going to affect them. But if they feel love and joy and they have positivity, that's great. Proverbs 22:6 says, direct for your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. For me, that is a verse that reminds me that not just in kid ministry, but my own life, directing kids is so important. So today, I explain 3 major elements that will help create a safe and effective children's environment. First, physical safety protects kids through secure systems, trained leaders, and clear procedures. Second, emotional safety helps kids feel seen, welcomed, and cared for. And third, spiritual and relational safety helps learn about God in an age-appropriate way while kids trust with caring adults. A strong children's ministry is not being built by accident. It's creating relationships and meaningful teaching. So the next time someone thinks about kids ministry as just picture, snacks, noise, and honestly just chaos, it's not that those are things. They don't see what's happening behind the scenes. They should see leaders creating space where children are protected, valued, and given opportunities to grow. And yes, there will still be snacks, coloring tables, and Bible stories and noise. But when children's ministry is done well, there is also safety, trust, purpose, and care. Thank you so much.